Welcome to the After the Show podcast, where we hang out a little longer and share our lives and our fights and all that fun stuff.
Oh, we want to do that again?
No, Murphy.
Actually, what I want to share with you today, I think is helpful to anybody who has had their identity compromised, information stolen. And, you hear all the commercials. There are a lot of different companies that offer protection and that sort of thing. And sometimes you wonder if that's hype. It's not. Well, it's because identity theft is very real today. And I got a notification from one of the, so I have my credit rating, whatever you call, not credit rating frozen, the credit file frozen. If you remember earlier in the year, I told you that it was stolen. Jodi and I were at lunch. There's a bank in town that calls me that I don't bank with, and they say, "Hey, Mr. Murphy, I think that your information has been, stolen." Somebody was making a loan in my name. Or actually, they were trying to open an account in my name, which is interesting because I don't know how they were going to manage whatever they were going to stick money in there or whatever they were going to do.
Just try, right?
Yeah.
They had your Social Security number?
They must have had my social for that. And so I went in and locked down my credit files with the 3 agencies. And I'd always subscribed to one. I didn't realize that there were 3 agencies, nor did I realize the federal government passed a law a while back that mandates that for free, at no charge, you can completely lock down your credit file with the 3 major credit reporting agencies. That way, if somebody takes your information, they can't go, make a loan in your name. They'll be denied for it. So I shut that down. But I also have this dark web monitoring thing going on. And every now and then I've seen, all right, my name shows up on the dark web. My number shows up on the dark web. Now,
it just doesn't sound good.
I don't know that anybody's called me from the dark web, but my number has been there. And but the notification that I got about a week ago says that my Social Security number is now out on the dark web. And, if everything in January hadn't happened, I might be a little panic-stricken by that because you try to protect, all of it. But I'm not going to say I'm desensitized to it, but there's only so much that you can do. You lock your credit down. There are a couple of other things, that you lock down with the government to protect your employment file and those kinds of things. And then that's pretty much it. I don't know where it goes after that because once it's done, you only get one Social Security number. You can't go apply for another one. I guess that would be messy, huh? If you could have multiple socials. Or cancel my old one, please.
I have a question. You've said you've locked down your credit. Sam knows where I'm going.
Here comes the fight.
Yeah, I can't lock down your credit. I mean, I can, but then you won't have. If you want me to, I can do that. But it would be smart for you to create the account and do the same thing. Yeah.
Well, thanks for advising me of that.
I don't actually know that I can do more than one Social Security number on the same. I'll have to check that out and see.
So much of our financial life is joint.
Yeah. So
with your credit being locked down and your name floating around the dark web, does that mean that I need to do something extra, some extra protection?
That's a great point. I feel kind of dumb here. Good thing we're doing this in a podcast, right? We should take the extra measures on yours.
Okay, Murphy has gotten notifications. Social Security is on the dark web. I've gotten them at my email address and social there. Have you ever gotten any?
No.
Oh, good. Well, you're good.
Where do you get the notifications from is what I want to know.
Those services.
The services. And this is not a commercial for any of those, but I will tell you which one. So I actually subscribe now to all 3 of them. That's probably overkill because you don't have to have a subscription to be able to freeze your credit rating. But the other reporting aspects, I like. And so it is what it is. Personal decision I just made. I weigh the odds on how much it costs per year versus
risk.
Somebody stealing everything, So I have all 3 of them. And I
have all 3 of them. Jodi has none.
No, but that's not true. You're actually
I'm joking.
So it monitors your phone number. It monitors our daughter's phone numbers.
Good.
It monitors your name. It monitors our girls' names also. And then I'm trying to think of what else is out there.
What are our socials?
But I'll have to double check and see. I don't remember.
Right. I've never received anything that seems squirrely. I've never received any warning about anything. And I've never received anything.
That's funny for all the online shopping you do. You figure somebody would have gotten a hold of something.
Well, hey, don't give me any bad vibes.
No, it's not a slam. It's just, because when these hackers hack in,
I
they'll
know.
hack into the certain department store or a certain.
It's a secret fear.
Yeah.
It's a fear. for
Well, there's
sure.
really nothing that Jodi is putting her Social Security number on.
Correct.
You know, so maybe that's why it's not out there. And I don't know how mine got compromised. You know,
Well, you have
because
a
you know what?
hunch.
Well, I have a
You have a
hunch.
hunch.
I do have
Remember?
a hunch. No,
Oh, really?
Well, so
Tell it.
my hunch is, and I'm going to be careful about how I say this because again, it's just a hunch. It's not real, and I'm not alleging anything. But I had to go to an urgent care in a city that we won't reference when Jodi and I were out of town. And when I went in there and I filled out the application, not the application.
The form.
You know, I'm approved for you to see me today. The form has a Social Security number slot, and I don't ever
Normally
fill that out. I'll do the last 4 digits, and that's it. I don't ever give my social out on anything that I don't have to. And most forms don't require it, except for a bank that you're making a loan from or the IRS, I guess it needs that. Nobody else really needs your social for any reason whatsoever. And or your employer, I guess, has to have it. But
on that day,
on that
you
day,
did.
on that day, I put the whole social down there, you know.
And
I used a highlighter and put stars next to it. Maybe that was the
I wasn't
problem.
with him.
You wrote
It
the
was a
word
weird-
secret next to it.
Do you remember that when you told me that later when I was picking up prescriptions for you in a strange city? It was weird. I was driving all around trying to find this for you. I remember you telling me that you I wrote my social down. I shouldn't have done that. And I thought, you really are feverish. Like, you really are not yourself.
Yeah, I was pretty sick.
You were
that day.
very sick to have written, knowing you of all. Like, I would need his social. When we first got married, I would need Murphy's social for some, and I didn't know it yet, when you're new, whatever. I didn't know it. And I would have to call him for it. And he would go, be quiet. I'm not on speaker, am I? I'll send it to you. Like, he wouldn't even tell me in my ear. So he's super,
I'm
private.
careful about that stuff. You remember there was a time that we were on a flight and somebody was calling me asking for a form of payment.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm on a flight right now, so I'm not really going to read my social security.
Smart.
My credit card
card.
number to you right now.
Yeah.
Correct.
Those kinds of things. You just can't be too careful.
When you got the notification, you got it that your social was on the dark web, or
Yeah.
that your information was included in a recent hack?
Oh,
Because
no.
I've gotten those too. That hey, as you may know, so and so
There was a big
hacked,
one. Yeah.
and your information may have been included in that.
Yeah. So there are two big service providers to the country. One is in the health industry, health and wellness industry, and the other, no, I'm not going to remember what the other one is, but really large databases of information were hacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if, there was one that Jodi and I got in the mail, that said, hey, it's because I think that's a required disclosure now for businesses that are, that are hacked. But the notification I got said my social security number itself was on the dark web. So, and that's what's being monitored. That's what I pay these services to, to actually monitor and know. So I'm glad I got the heads up on it. It's a reminder to me to just stay diligent about that, and, the services, there are a lot of things that wind up being bundled with those services. I know some of them have the guarantees and they'll insure you for this, that, and the other. I just want the information. You know what I mean? That's what I want to know.
The funny thing about it is that now that he's locked down, we'll try to do something normal, transactional, like go get money out of an ATM to get Phoebe's car out of tow, which happened the other day, and he couldn't get it. And he's like, "What's going on? What's wrong?" "Oh, I'm locked down." And that happened.
Yeah.
It keeps happening. It's like you keep forgetting that you've locked yourself down.
Yeah. Well, because banks will let you lock down all the use of the debit
Yeah.
cards and those kind of things. And I'm not a debit card user.
Yeah.
I'm a credit card user for that very reason. And so my debit card stays locked. I mean, and so if I'll forget and I'll go to the ATM, and it's like, oh, that's right, I got to unlock
Is
it.
Jodi's debit card locked?
Yes. So little things like that. But you can see, you wind up having so many different things to pay attention to. It's easy to forget that you've got it, locked up tight. It's just it's a weird time. But I guess the reason I wanted to share it is because, truly at first I would have been, if this had been January all over again, and I'd received the dark web notification at the same time I got the call from that bank, I probably would have freaked out a little bit in my own head, not, just worried about it. And but once you understand, and it's really good, I'm so glad that the government has set up requirements for these credit reporting agencies to give you free access to lock your credit report as needed. And by default, it's unlocked, by the way. So, and that's what all
It's
three
naturally
with all three
unlocked.
agencies. It's unlocked all the time, right? So unless you have to apply for a loan or apply for a new credit card, there's really no reason for it to be open in the first place.
You said you were going to say the agencies, so the reporting agencies. If you want to go ahead and give them here, let's do that.
There's the three major credit reporting agencies are Experian, TransUnion, and now I'm forgetting Equifax. Thank you, Sam. Yeah, those are the three. Our subscription happens to be, well, I guess now I said I'm subscribed to all three of them. It was Experian that I was originally subscribed to, and in my head I was thinking, okay, if I had one, I was covered across the board, and that's not the case. If you're freezing, you need to freeze it with each individual, credit reporting agency.
Since your stuff's on the dark web, have you ever had any, curiosity to see if you can get on it and find your information?
Ooh.
You know what? I don't know that I want to mess with the dark web.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to get to it in the first place.
Me either.
And I don't want to Google it, and I don't know what that is other than I just don't want to be near that world because it's not just about stolen information.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you
horrible.
open that door, who knows what you're
some of the worst things that happen in our
time.
society and times happen, in the dark web. And so
you've done what you can do.
Yeah, I would honestly, in life, generally speaking, I don't like to remain ignorant about things, but that's one I just don't want to go, into.
Yay. Let's not.
Yeah.
Missed any part of the show? Get it all on the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi podcast.